Good morning. Well, first of all, let's do a weather check, as you request, Aaron. Oh, I've not turned the camera on properly. It looks really bright out there, but I can assure you it is pissing down. Winter has arrived north of the wall, people. Prepare your central heatings, get your raincoats out, it's coming for you. I don't know how many times you think you can divide yourself
I'll be like this.
before you're not functioning anymore.
The phone on this side. We'll be like...
This is going to be a
Tweet.
slog.
Tweet like a tiger. Is anyone from health and safety? Anyone in the high vis? Just look away.
Oh, clever. Do you want the other one?
I'm not just a look. I'm not just good looking. Excuse me while I just tag everyone on LinkedIn in this. Aaron, have you been telling women about your shower time again on the train?
Why?
Bev's commented on my post on LinkedIn about the Brewdog house. So Aaron was telling me about the beer shower on my train home. It's like, Aaron, you've got to stop telling people about your time in the shower.
Hello and welcome to Accountex 2023 Manchester edition.
We are here.
We are here. Come with us as we go for a tour and a grid walk of Accountex
Manchester.
2023.
Let's go see if we can find any cool friends. Producer Lizzie has given us a direct map that we have to follow. Aaron, it's this way.
Okay.
Aaron, we can't just wander off this time. Producer Lizzie's trying to make this more professional. There's a plan and everything. No, this way, Aaron. Come on.
All right, okay.
What's he doing there? He doesn't belong there. You got the wrong topic.
So we've got some amazing people on thing, especially at 10:15. I've heard this one. I'm an accountant. Get me out of here. Someone's going to get a trademark infringement for that one, aren't they?
So there's Bev Flanagan hosting this one.
So if you want to imagine what Bev looks like, just look at the floor. Purple.
She will be in purple. She'll be very
Yeah,
camouflaged today.
it'll be very difficult for you to actually find out where she is.
And here we are. Here are our friends,
Hello.
employment hero.
Going?
It's
Doesn't stop.
the top trump cards.
Yep.
Everyone's heard about my legendary 10 out of 10 banter.
Swoops around it. There he is. There's Swoop. Where's Sam? He'll be on another stand again, won't he?
I've got my card.
Right. Here it is.
Oh, are you ready? Your top trump card, sir.
I love these. Absolutely love these. These are
Now,
genius.
As people randomly get top trump cards from our stand,
Yeah.
if they get you, we're telling them to come and get it signed by you to add more resale value at a later date.
I love that.
I've got an autographed
Absolutely
top trump
love
card
that.
of Sam.
You know what?
There's some
that
great AI sessions
that
today.
that is going to be a really big one, I think. But as you can see here, here is the podcast pit stop by Ask the Accountant. And here we have the opportunity for people to come along, maybe their first ever podcast, the opportunity for them to come along, talk to us. We've got some set questions, haven't we, Johann?
We have got some 15 questions to try and get through in half an hour with each guest. And the idea is that we're going to generate content that they can then just take and use in their own social media. They can use it on their own websites, whatever they want to do. Because most accountants and bookkeepers don't have this opportunity that we have to interview people or to be interviewed like we do. So it's absolutely brilliant that we're being able to offer this facility. And then when you come
along,
here, you get a top trump card.
Well, what time is it? About 10 o'clock at night on a Tuesday night. I am not long back from Accountex. Accountex finished about 7 o'clock tonight. We went downstairs and we had a burger and a pint or two of lager shandy because we're well behaved. What an event. Absolutely incredible event. We did 13 podcast episodes. Aaron did a load of social media posts. I then did a speaking session first thing this morning as well with the wonderful Bev Flanagan, all about acquisitions and getting your business ready. So it was called I'm an Accountant, Get Me Out of Here. Very catchy. I really enjoyed that session. Standing room only as well, which was fantastic to see. These days are always a little bit weird, if I'm honest, because people come up and say, "Oh, thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for the YouTubes and the videos and the podcasts." You know, it's very humbling, shall we say, for people to come up and say that and do that and rate about our content, really. So yeah, just an incredible day. Caroline and the team that run Accountex did such a smashing job at running such a great event. I absolutely loved it. We'll hopefully be back next year for Accountex Manchester to do the live podcasting, and just keep your eyes out to see what else we can come up with. Top trump cards, they went very, very well. They were really successful. Our socks did well. So yeah, 13 podcast episodes in a day though. That was hard work. Like, it's not easy to interview 13 different people in one go, but we absolutely loved it. Some great software vendors, and more importantly, some really, really good sessions with bookkeepers and accountants who've never done a podcast before, never been interviewed before. So it was great to give them that experience in a supportive, welcoming format that is Ask the Accountant. They loved it. We've got some great content for Accountex to use, but also great content for them to use on their own social medias as well, which was fantastic. So yeah, not long gone 10 o'clock at night. I am going to go to bed. We've agreed quite a late start tomorrow, so 9:30 start, which is nice, and that's for breakfast, so that's very civilized. And then I'm working from Brewdog Hotel all day tomorrow, so we were hoping to do some podcasting tomorrow, but it didn't quite plan the diaries together, and we're knackered. So we're going to do some video editing, we're going to do some work for our own firms, and then I'm going to get the train home. I can't get any earlier train because it's a pre-booked ticket with a reservation. So the joys of planning ahead and then the plans not coming to fruition. But yeah, absolutely fantastic day at Accountex. Hard bloody work, but worth it. And I can't wait for you all to get and see all 13 episodes of the podcasts we've just saved and recorded. Producer Lizzie, who does all the producing for this, also produces all of our pre-recorded podcasts, and she's going to start cracking on with that straight away. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for coming and saying hello. If you were about today, we had a fantastic day. And if you've not come to these types of events before, make sure you book in for something next year. It's a fantastic day out. Loads of learning, loads of networking, loads of great suppliers to go and talk to. So yeah, I will see you in the morning.
Good morning. So it's Wednesday morning. The plan today was to do podcasting with some cool friends for Ask the Accountant. We've got cool friends, but diaries just couldn't sync up. So instead, in theory, I could go home, but I've got one of those cheap tickets, but it means you've got to use the reservations you've got. So my train's at like 4:30 today. So I'm going to be sat in the Brewdog Manchester today, getting some work done, catching up with my team. I'm a bit out of sync with them. I've not really had an office day for about 5 or 6 days now, nearly a week. So yeah, I'm going to be catching up with them, joining some team meetings from the wonderful Brewdog Manchester. So yeah, I'll try and link you guys into some of the meetings and conversations where possible. Okay, so that's me back in the office. It's about 8:30 on the Wednesday evening. Today's been a really good day. It wasn't the day we planned. We were meant to be doing podcasting and stuff like that. Diaries didn't work and cancellations happened, and that's fine. These things happen. But I managed to spend some really good time with Aaron and Lizzie and do a bit of a trial of kind of a test of what they thought of client engagers practice management tools for their client's point of view, so from the client portal point of view. So Lizzie had never looked at it before, so it was great to see her go into it for the first time, navigate, trying to take some tasks on and do that. And it meant we could take that feedback back. So I videoed it all and I took all that feedback. I'm going to pass that on to the team so we can make some slight tweaks and stuff just to get that user impression with a fresh set of eyes. So yeah, that was fantastic. Unfortunately, I didn't get very much done on the train. The west coast of England's train lines are horrific for mobile phone signal. TransPennines Wi-Fi never seems to work for me. And once again, they managed to turn up 20 minutes late to the end destination. So silver lining of cancelled trains and late trains that have affected this week's journeys is that means my round trip cost me £45 instead of £95 because of compensation. So that's a silver lining, I suppose, but it's still a hassle and a pain in the backside that you just can't rely on TransPennine Express, in my experience, to actually turn up on time, if at all. The rest of the week is going to be client meetings. I've got 4 prospect calls tomorrow. All 4 are people looking at buying businesses themselves and want some due diligence advice and support. I've got team meetings, I've got client engager demos. So yeah, very much a day in this office. I'm going to get my steps back up, do some emails and stuff. I did manage to get on top of my emails today as well. That's a bonus. When you've been out of the office for 3 days, they build up quite quickly. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that part of the week where we've been away. We've done Accountex. It was an amazing event. Stayed in an amazing hotel. Brewdog Hotel's a fantastic place to stay for anyone. And I'll tell you what, it was not that much more expensive than staying somewhere like a Premier Inn or something for much, much more premium experience. So yeah, definitely worth a look if you're going to stay anywhere. There's one in Edinburgh, one in Aberdeen, one in Manchester for that I know of so far. But yeah, so that's the first 3 days of the week done. Bit more of a quiet week for the rest of the week. As I say, prospect calls, team calls. And I'm actually out for lunch with a client on Friday as well, where we go through their management reports, which is always nice to do. So yeah, we will see how we get on with the prospect calls tomorrow for due diligence. Good morning. It's 7:45. It's Thursday. Funnily enough, after 3 very busy days in Manchester, I slept exceptionally well. So today's that first day back in the office. I've managed to get all my emails covered. Did that all on the train. Really good use of time there, even though the West Coast has got terrible internet signal. It's just about good enough to do emails. So yeah, today is, well, let's show you. Today is back to back with meetings, as you can see. That's my diary for today. Yeah, busy day, but that's fine. That's what we're ready for. You can't expect anything other than a busy day, considering I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday out the office last week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the office this week out doing what I do with podcasting and stuff like that. So it's all fine. What I thought I might do while we're here is just give you a bit of a look around the office, just show you kind of where I work and what I do and what kit I've got. Before I crack on with my first meeting today at about 9:15, which is a team meeting to catch up with the team, or part of the team anyway, and just see how things are with them. So yeah, that's the plan for the start of the day. Okay, so excuse the wind noise, I've just stepped outside. This is my office space, so this is in my garden. For those that follow me on LinkedIn, you'll have seen the progress updates on this. I was very excited about getting my new office space. But yeah, so this is my office space. Now, excuse the mess. It's not been tidied in a few days because, well, I've been away. But yeah, let's have a look around the office then. So down here, we've got a very saddened looking beer fridge. I say beer fridge. It's there to have beers, but I normally have fruit juice and stuff in there, but it's empty for the last few days because I've been away. Got a stash of tripods and teleprompters and stuff down there. Chili plants aren't doing so well. I need to water them. Glad to see they got watered while I was away. Okay, so what have we got up here? This is my main desk, basically. So we use the trustworthy Logitech MX series for mouse and keyboard. Desk is powered by the M2 Max Pro Mini, something like that. We split everything off using the CowDigit T3 hub. I've got my iPad mini here. Got my Accounting Council swag from last week here. Charging my phone. I've always got my Go Free on standby. So this is the one that I got the other week. It's the one that I filmed a load of B-roll footage on for you guys this week. So the bit we love about this is this just comes out. So you get your main hub, which is great, and there's more power in there, more memory. But this comes out and it just connects to a magnetic plinth like that. So it's great for B-roll. Water bottle holder. My favourite QuickBooks Camel Pack water bottle. I've got my coffee for the morning here. Under there, some calculators. Stand for this phone that I do my recording on here. All my lighting. So I've got 3 lights, 1, 2, and 1 in the background for when I'm filming. So I've got my 2 screens. So I run a ultra-wide LG monitor here. This splits into 3 screens for me at my choice. So on the left hand side, I've got QuickBooks normally and something like SIF Analytics or whatever I'm doing action in. And on the right, I normally have client engagers sat there, normally multiple tabs open where I'm monitoring and keeping an eye on things, completing my own tasks. And then on the left-hand side, I've got a 27-inch LG monitor on its side, as you can see. And basically at the top, I have my emails, and at the bottom, I have my calendar. The top one where it says emails at the moment, that normally flicks between emails and Teams. So all of my team communicate through Teams. So they're the 2 communication platforms I use. Plenty of lovely little cactuses in here. But then what we've also got is a Rodecaster Duo. So this is their smaller one. This is all I really need. It's absolutely fantastic bit of kit for the sound and stuff. So this is what I put all my sound through to make sure for all my live shows and webinars and Zoom calls and stuff that I do and team meetings. We've then got an Alexa Spot or Hub or whatever it's called.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
That's Alexa telling me what she's not sure about. So branded with strategic partners. So we got this as a gift for when we were a QuickBooks strategic partner. Then I've got my Stream Deck, which I need to wake up. That little round thing is a remote control for my light, which that's this bit here. So that just helps reduce the glare off the monitor and help my eyes a bit. While we're also up here, this little thing up here is a Insta360 webcam. So this is really smart. It's powered by AI. So basically, it's got the ability to track me when I'm going around the room and stuff like that. It's got a really crisp 4K video. Really, really smart bit of kit that really ups the game and quality of all my webinars and stuff that I do. So yeah, and then under here we have the obligatory mess. Look at those cables. My only issue with organizing cables is that it's once you've organized them, you can hardly undo them, and you can't move anything. And I'm still in that phase where I'm moving stuff around because I've only been in here about 5-6 weeks now. So I'm still adjusting and tweaking things. So I'm just leaving the cables as they are until I sort that out. I need to do some shredding and recycling there, looking at that. I've got a air purifier down there. And then down here, because I've got a standing desk. I've been very good for the whole 5-6 weeks I've been in here. I don't ever sit down at this desk. So I've got my standing desk. So under here, I've got this, which is where I can get, so this is electronic, and it means I can, and motorized, so it means I can get my steps in whilst also standing up and doing emails and stuff. Before I got this, I was doing what, 2,500-3,000 steps a day, but stood up all day. Whereas now, I always aim to get 6,000 to 7,000 steps in a day. And I try and do that on this, walking about 5.5 miles an hour for about an hour or two in the mornings and in between calls and stuff. So that helps with my fitness a bit. And then sometimes on top of that, if I'm just stood still in meetings, I've got my anti-fatigue mat, which I don't know how it works. I don't understand the science, but I can confirm it does work. And then I've just had a delivery of my favourite Nespressos. So that's here. Then I've got some pegboards with various storage bits on it, lanyards and stuff. And then, as you all know, I wear many t-shirts in my life. Most people wear different hats or spin different plates. I wear different t-shirts. So we've got my Ask the Accountant, my Client Engager hoodie, my OnPoint Accounting stuff, and the Intuit QuickBooks Council. These are my Rode headphones that plug directly into my Rodecaster Duo. Absolutely fantastic bits of kit for when editing videos and doing sound checks. This bit here, this is my mic arm. So it's got my windbreaker of the Ask the Accountant on it. But yeah, so that's my mic arm. That's a podcaster, Rode Podcaster mic. So yeah, so we've got all of that, more storage. Got the dog's bed, because she likes to come and rest in here in the afternoons normally. Spends her mornings inside, but then comes here for the afternoons. More storage and stuff like that, more awards. That's the bookkeeper, Startup Bookkeeper of the Year award in 2017. Then I've got a second desk. So not using this desk a huge amount. This desk was installed with the theory of having a separate place for video editing. So I've got a monitor, just a webcam for a backup really. Lots of storage for all my cables and stuff. Fan/heater. Some gifts from clients in a bottle of wine and bottle of whiskey. Under here we've got a got my Blackmagic quick edit keyboard. We power this device. So this is all powered using my MacBook Air, and then got my trackpad and keyboard from Apple here. They're just the Rode mics I use. Nice water bottle from QuickBooks. 60 quid a bottle. That's ridiculous. Who spends that kind of money on a bottle? I wouldn't spend more than £5-10 on a bottle. If it wasn't for accounting swag, I wouldn't have a water bottle. And then this is my normal camera for when I'm out filming podcasts and stuff like that. So that's my Sony, I think it's the ZV E10. So really good bit of kit that. Interchangeable lenses and stuff like that. So it's fantastic. Under this desk, we've got a chair, and we've got a shredder, which I need to use based on the pile of paperwork under the other desk. I need to tidy up a bit. This is just where I'm just back from Accountex, but this is that QuickBooks Ask the Accountant bag. I've repurposed it rather than for traveling with clothing and stuff. This is my camera and microphone bag now. This is my Intuit rucksack. This is basically my grab bag. US presidents have a nuclear suitcase, which has got all the nuclear bombs on it and codes. So wherever they are in the world, that goes with them. Basically the same principle with this, but I run my business through that bag. So wherever I am, that bag normally goes with me. And then over here, we've got just a bit of display, really. So I love my Lego, my QuickBooks trainers, always a conversation starter at a conference. This NASA spacecraft took me about 3 days to build with Lego, which I loved. My big accountancy quiz prize from this time last year from Iris. Under here, more plant stuff. I like the idea of plants in the office, but they never live long enough for me. So they kind of have to get, we have to get hardy plants like snake plants and cactuses that will survive the neglect that I give them. My R2-D2 Lego unit there, that's another couple of day project. Here we've got some coffee cups and see if I can get the shot of this, QuickBooks branded Nespresso machine. Very much enjoy having this in the office, and my little tray of Nespressos. I'm more of a flavoured coffee man when it comes to Nespresso. I am in general, actually. The old reliable ScanSnap. I don't think there's any bookkeeper or accountant in the world that can run an office, a firm, without a ScanSnap in their arsenal. Various paperwork. These are all the books I've got. So I don't like reading, but what I do like to do is have a book and an audio book of it, and I listen to the audio book and flick through the book at the same time. Another nice little QuickBooks water bottle there. So yeah, so that's the office. I just thought I'd give you a tour so you can got a bit of idea of location and what I'm doing, where I'm doing it and stuff in future videos. So yeah, hopefully that was useful. If you've got any questions about the gear I use or my processes or anything, then please make sure you ask, and I'll try and be open as possible and tell you how I do stuff. There's no trade secrets in here, really. So yeah, that is the office. So hope you enjoyed. Okay, so I've had my morning Teams call with my team. Great to catch up with everyone after best part of a week and a bit out of the office, really, and doing meetings and calls and stuff. So back in the office, done my morning Teams call, caught up with everyone, followed up and helped a team member with a client question they had. And I've now changed my t-shirt again, and I'm about to go and do a client demo call. So get that done, and then I'll be changing my top again back to OnPoint Accounting very quickly. So how can I help you today? Problem with all practice management software is it just keeps growing. So trying to keep up with it's a nightmare. So keep following the Facebook group, because even tomorrow night there's a huge update coming out. So if you're already kind of getting you set up, the main areas to look at are you've got your dashboard. You can hide any widgets that aren't of interest to you. The idea is the customization's there so that they can see what's important to them in their job role. So at the top you've got a search feature. And this search feature not only looks for client names, but it'll also search by email, mobile number, telephone, UTR, national insurance, or VAT number. So I've got two menus. You've got one which is kind of data entry, setting up the client along the top. One down the side is all the tools for that client. Invoices is if you're linked to QuickBooks at the moment, but if you're linked to Xero in the next few weeks, you'll be able to put in the invoice history of this client. Fresco, so you can request payments, one-off payments using their open banking tool, which is analytics. So, which is statements basically for you. Files is where all the folders and files get kept for each client, and you've got a folder structure that you set up in your settings. So you can see here, with my self-assessment tax return season, I've got 47 requested documents for. I've got one on my waiting records, 2 part records received. Then I can manage this all the way through to send to client. So that's the system as a whole. Has that answered all your questions, or have you got any other areas that you want to ask questions on? Still, I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. If you've got any questions, reach out.
Thank you. I mean,
See you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Okay, so that was a client engager demo. The demo slots can always vary. I always basically ask at the start, how can I help today? We don't have a pre-scripted demo or anything like that. It is all about working out what the potential users' pain points are, how I can then use the tool to solve those pain points and demonstrate that to them. So there's no point in me showing them features that they know about, they understand from other softwares, or they don't care about. So we always tailor the demo to each person. In today's case, they were already having a trial with us and they just wanted to check some key features on how they work. And this is how they worked in my old software. This is how do I make them work in this software type thing, and workflows and stuff like that. So yeah, a really good call for Client Engager this morning. My next call is one of 4 due diligence inquiries. So these are clients, potential clients that have come to us from a podcast that I did about a year ago now with a business coach that specializes in acquisitions and teaching people how to acquire businesses and grow their businesses through acquisitions. I always know when that business coach has reshared the podcast or the video or has done a course recently, because we get a surge of inquiries. So I think he did a course 2 weeks ago and we just got a surge of inquiries. But because my diary was already full, they've all booked into today basically, because it was the first free time they had. So I will go on to those, but to do that means changing my t-shirt again. So excuse me while I go and change my t-shirt. Okay, so that's the prospect call done. Very positive call. People that are trying to do due diligence always seem to have a very positive call with us, because we're doing acquisitions of our own. So unlike any of our other accountants that these prospects speak to, they're all very good at, I'm chartered and we've done this and we do that. But the moment I turn around and say, we do our own acquisitions, we've done X amount in this period of time, it gives us a huge amount of credibility. So we're automatically boosted in their opinions, which is great. So time for a quick change again, back into the Client Engager t-shirt from the OnPoint Accounting gilet, and off to do a training session with one of our bigger firms that use Client Engager. So yeah, we'll crack on with that. Okay, so we are 3 calls down, 1 more to go. First 2 calls were very positive and probably a bit early in their journey to have a chat with me about due diligence, because they've not actually found a business to buy yet, but at least they now know what a business looks like and what due diligence will look like when they get to that stage, so they can go in knowing confidently what the process is. Third call, the business was just up to its eyeballs in debt. The potential buyer had basically been told by a lending broker that they could secure him loads of money to borrow the bit for the business. Once I explained the realities of that though, and the costs involved in a multi-million pound borrowing thing, the potential client that was looking at buying the business decided that it wasn't worth it and was going to back away. Yeah, if you're looking at buying businesses and it's going to take a lot of borrowing to get money, to get the business brought, then just be aware banks aren't lending cheaply at the moment. You're looking at 10 to 15% interest. You're also looking at banks wanting you to put some skin in the game, and they also want to know that you are going to be running the business well. So if you've not got a reputation and a previous history of doing stuff like this and running this type of business, they won't lend to you. So until you've got 12 months under your belt of running that business, so they can see how well you run it. Yeah, lending and raising borrowing at the moment is really difficult. It can be done, and there's people at places like Swoop who are fantastic, and they keep me updated on what's available and stuff. But ultimately, if you think you're going to be able to go and buy a multi-million pound business and raise £1 million worth of lending without putting any skin in the game yourself, then you're going to be disappointed, unfortunately. But the benefit is that person's managed to have a call with me, and in the space of 15 minutes on a call, they've had a bit of a reality check. They've worked out, actually, yeah, this isn't going to quite add up. Like, the free cash flow in the business isn't going to be able to cover the cost of the debt, never mind anything else. And that's assuming they could actually raise the money that this broker seems to be promising them they could raise. So yeah, this is the way it goes with a lot of due diligence calls. Is I provide a bit of a sounding board and a bit of a reality check, and I'd probably say 90% of inquiries we get result in no further work from that deal, and the deal going no further, because we give them a bit of a sounding board and a bit of a reality check, and they realise that what they're planning on doing isn't feasible. But I'd rather do that than lead someone down the garden path and lead to them getting into trouble in the near future. So yeah. So we've got one more call to do. Then I've got a client call to catch up with a new client. And then I'm done for the day, hopefully. So yeah, see how the next few calls go. Okay, so it's the end of Thursday. The final due diligence call didn't happen. Rang the client, didn't turn up, or prospective client, should I say? So mark against them, really. And then the final potential client pool was a lady looking to set up, do I go sole traded, do I go limited, getting involved in content creation and stuff. So it was nice to be able to tell her about my journey and how I do things, gave her some ideas to go forwards with, and she's happily signed up. So she'll agree to the price on the call, sent her the proposal. So that's just being signed off now, and we'll get the limited company registered for her and crack on. So yeah, nice little successful end to the day. I do like to end the day on a sale call. That's always a nice way to do it. But yeah, I am going to spend the rest of my day, well, next half an hour or so, sorting out some social media posts, sorting out some uploading of video content so Lizzie can get all this edited and filmed. And yeah, not a bad day. Not a bad day at all. Also going to start investigating into HubSpot to see if we can get that up and running as a sales tracking system to keep on track of everything, because we're starting to spin out of control with some of our sales and stuff. But yeah, thank you once again for joining me. Tomorrow is going to be a similar day. It's going to be office bound in here. But yeah, let's see what tomorrow holds. Good morning. It is Friday. It's the end of the week. I've got a few client calls to do, a couple of client engager demos to do, but I've also got a nice lunch to go to, so I'm looking forward to that. Hence the shirt today and behind the gilet rather than the t-shirt. A bit smarter to go and see a client. I'm currently just going through client engager, making sure that our firm's client engager is up to date, making sure tasks are up to date. Just checking in on certain jobs to make sure I know what's going on when they're happening and what's holding things up, basically. I've got a team meeting in half an hour with some of our team members. So yeah, just really looking forward to going out for lunch, actually. It's a really nice little restaurant that they've asked me to go and meet them at. So it's always a bonus to go into a client meeting if you can get a lunch in there as well. So that's always a bonus. One of the first jobs I'm actually going to do today, since it's Friday morning, is just have a final review of the video for last week's A Day in the Life of. Just make sure that is looking good, make sure I'm happy with it, maybe make some notes of things I'd like to change in future about how I film things, the content I capture. Now, of course, these videos, they're there for you, not for me. I mean, yes, there's a benefit for me. I want to be able to see what I get up to and look back and take action on how I spend my time and efficiency and productivity. But ultimately, if there's stuff you want to see in these videos, let me know. Stick it in the comments, drop me a direct message, anything like that's absolutely fine. If there's no one watching these videos, then that's not an issue at all, because that means I've still got a record of what I get up to, how I do it, and I can look back on that and work out how I can save time on things and stuff like that. So let's have a look at what Lizzie's produced for us. Okay, so it's looking good. I'm really happy with it for a first week, first attempt. Lizzie's done a fantastic job with the editing as always. So yeah, really happy with that. That'll go live tonight at 6 p.m. So it would have gone live 6 p.m. last Friday for you guys. Yeah, very happy. There was an audio issue at the start where my iPhone was only one channel. So after I fixed that with the Rode, that was sorted. But yeah, let's see what else we can crack on with today. I'm going to go and jump into my client meeting. Okay, so one of my client calls this morning was a follow-up call on a due diligence case we've started. And I wanted to just explain kind of how we do due diligence for clients. So due diligence is done on acquisitions. We do a lot of it, and our clients quite like us doing it because they know I do acquisitions myself personally. So I know firsthand what I'm looking for. And one of the first things we always look at is cash flow. We ignore the accounts, we ignore the balance sheet. What's important to us is the bank transactions and the cash flow. So we use our Analytics source of funds report, which gives us 2 years worth of financial data and analytics. And it allows us immediately to identify whether there's any lending we've not been told about, how much is being taken out of the business by the owner, which would become then free cash in the future, hopefully. And it also shows us how much positive or negative cash there is in the bank every month on average. And it's through that review that I can then turn around to the business owner and go, you've got a problem. So like in this case, the plan was to repay deferred consideration on a monthly basis for a large amount of money. The problem is, when I added everything back into the bank transactions and the cash flow, they were missing 2/3 of that money they needed. So it's like, right, where do we get that extra money from? Do we borrow, and can we afford to repay the borrowing? Do we, what are all our different options? So I've had a call with the client, explained all the issues. They've now put the due diligence on hold, which is what I was expecting them to do while they review it and talk to the seller. And it's actually one of our prouder points is that most due diligence cases we get involved with fail to go through to the actual deal. And that's because we're identifying major issues in the cash flow before we even look at the accounts and balance sheet and stuff. So that we know our clients are only acquiring businesses where the deal structure is actually achievable. We don't want to go in and go, well, the accounts are looking profitable and the balance sheet's looking okay, so you can go ahead with the deal if the cash flow can't support the deal's the financial plan for the deal. So we'll wait to hear back after the weekend from the client as to whether they're going to carry on with the deal or not. But it's an interesting angle that not many accountants look at when they're looking at due diligence work. They all microanalyze and forensically analyze the accounts and the balance sheet, but very few look at the bank until it's too late. So that's why it's one of the first things we look at. So we've paused this job. We're about 22% of the way through what we class as our workload for a due diligence case. And it's normally at this point we end up having it paused because the cash flow, which is the blood of the business, just won't support the plans of the new business owner, and they need to revisit their plans and work out how they're going to do things. But that's what we're here for. We're here to give a touch of reality to the situation, and to be a bit of a sounding board, really. So yeah, interesting call. Obviously not the best news for the buyer or the seller if it doesn't go ahead, but at least we know our client's not getting themselves into any trouble in the near or far future. So it's all sustainable as a business, and we're not going to damage anything by them committing to things they can't afford to do. So yeah, so I'm now going to have a quick catch up with a few more team members. As it's Friday, I like to just say have a good weekend and see how everyone's doing. And then I will be catching a bus over to city centre of Edinburgh and going for some lunch with a client. I've just printed off the reports. Normally I do it on my iPad and show the reports, but there's going to be 4 or 5 of us sat around a table. So it's going to be easier to hand out bits of paper on this occasion with all the different statistics. And yeah, basically we're celebrating a year's hard work. Well done. They've hit all their targets. They've been more cost efficient than planned. They've made more sales than planned, etc. So it's been a really good year for them. So yeah, looking forward to meeting up with them and celebrating that success that they've had, which has all been powered by monthly management reports. Monthly management reports and cash flow are so important for clients to have. They are expensive, but the success case is phenomenal. So fingers crossed that success will continue. I don't see why it wouldn't. I'll talk to you later. So that's me back from my lunch. If only all client management accounts meetings could be held over a 4-course tasting menu. I feel like I've just eaten at a Michelin star restaurant. It was absolutely phenomenal food. Very small portions, as you'd expect with a tasting menu, but very filling, and the flavours were just sensational. Don't get me wrong, I don't get to do that every day, but it's always nice when you can. So back to the office. It's what time are we on now? 4:45. So the final thing I do every Friday is I just tidy up the office. I have a potter around, put the hoover through, make sure I've got a clean, tidy office ready to start the work next week. And it needs it, considering I wasn't about last Friday to do this. So yeah, it needs a good tidy up, I think. So I'll have a quick tidy and organise, and then I will call it a day and await everyone's feedback from the upload of last week's A Day in the Life of. Thank you very much again for joining me this week in A Day in the Life. Again, I know it's a week in a life, but we called it A Day in the Life. It's a bit late to change that now, but so be it. Next week is a whole week in the office, so I hope to get you some transparency over what we do for meetings and planning and stuff for Client Engager. I've got some work I need to do for OnPoint Accounting. Got a few meetings with various software providers. So yeah, it should be another good week. But looking forward to a week with no travel. So hope you enjoyed coming behind the scenes with me at Accountex and all of that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you all next week. Hello, my name's Johann. What's advanced? It's a lot more powerful equipment to combine. Okay, so I've decided to work
But it's a good business. The owner just doesn't care.
I'm not sure how much good content Liz is getting out of this.
We are live. I've got Johann Goree in the house.
Welcome to another episode of Ask the Accountant. We have good friends.
And I actually met and came up with the idea of this podcast.